Hey, you got time for a beer? I know I do. Welcome to my show. It's not Thursday, but I do have a new beer for you. You can find me at tubajake_69 on Untapped YouTube and Twitter. And then on Instagram, you can find me at tubajake_. Don't forget to tell me your stories. I like to hear them. Hopefully you do too. Because I'm going to tell you stories. I like telling stories. It's fun. The beer I've got for you today is Toil and Trouble. It's a coffee milk stout out of ConfluxCity Brewing Company. It's in Portland, Michigan, down over there near Lansing someplace. 6% ABV, 42 IBU. It's a 16-ounce can. Sounds pretty good. Contains lactose, it says, and coffee, if I remember reading this correctly. It says, this coffee stout has a strong coffee aroma and distinct coffee flavor, with a backbone of chocolatey roasted malts. Freshly ground coffee beans from Portland's own Courageous Coffee were added late in the fermentation process to make the flavor pronounced to all the senses. We suggest enjoying over the cauldron with friends. This beer is very versatile as an all hours of the day beer. That's right, we don't judge. So it's a breakfast beer, which sounds amazing, for sure. Let's see what this is like. Not exactly sure how old this is. I know that I got this from Horrocks, and usually they're pretty good about making sure that it's not too old, but I can't guarantee how long I've got this stuff sitting in my refrigerator. It's a lot ahead. Smells like a stout. There's definitely some dark malts kicking. I can smell them. It's definitely not nitro. If it were, you'd be able to see the waterfall there, like you do with a Guinness. I mean, Guinness is really the only place that you're going to get that from out of their cans, because they have that copyrighted, which seems kind of lame. I mean, you'd think, oh, that'd be really cool if you could just do that. I have had other places, other beers where it says that it's a nitro stout, but and it'll do that, but I don't know how, because it doesn't have the widget in it. So anyway, I figured drinking this out of a mug, since it's a coffee stout, might not be the worst idea. It's not bad. This is the first beer that I've had from this brewery. I didn't honestly know that this place existed. Even when I bought this, I was like, oh, that's something new. Oh, 6%. That sounds good. I like dark beers. I do. It's pretty good. There is a slight metallic taste to it, which I'm not sure is the glass or the can or the water. Or even just the age sometimes does that. Other than that, it tastes good. I like it. Very coffee-y. There's a lot of coffee flavor in this. There's a little bit of burnt to it, which could be the coffee. It could be the dark malts, because when you roast malts, they taste burnt. If you use a black malts generally taste burnt. Coffee malts generally taste a little acrid, but not quite burnt. And chocolate malts generally tend to taste a lot like bitter chocolate, which doesn't really taste burnt. It's smooth, I guess, would be the best one for that. It does taste good though. I like this a lot. Yeah, it is what it's supposed to be. Dark, not super heavy. It does have a full mouthfeel, which you get with the lactose in the beer. And it's sweet, which you get from the lactose in the beer, because lactose doesn't ferment with yeast, so you end up with a sweeter beer. It's a good thing to know, right? And it makes it a fuller mouthfeel. Like you've got more stuff in your mouth than just beer, I guess. It's good. What is it like? Okay, so I've told you pretty much what it's like. Does this remind me of a beer? Phew. Anything specific that I can think of right off the top of my head? I mean, a little bit of Guinness, but anything that's going to be light and dark, we'll do that every time. I had a brown at that place in DeWitt. Looking Glass, I want to say. Kind of reminded me of this. That one was a little bit more nutty than this one, but velvety also, which this is. Yeah, Guinness, lots of that. Trying to think of other ones, but that's what I got right now. Does this remind me of a story? Toil and Trouble. Okay, yeah, a couple different ones. The first one that came to mind was working at Boy Scout camp. Every year I'd get invited to go up to do the Blair Witch Project, which is a brilliant play on words if you know what the Blair Witch Project is, which is when they made this thing up and when they named it. So it makes perfect sense. But it has remained the Blair Witch Project for the last 25 years. And people have forgotten about the Blair Witch Project, so nobody knows exactly what that is. But Boy Scouts still go up there and they do all kinds of fun, there's a scary trail ride thing that they do. Different scouts come in, different scout troops come in and they do, I don't know, they make their campsite scary. Here in Chesaning, we've had some scouts that were better at this than others. They did a lot with, they had a chainsaw that they took the chain off of, and a lot with shadow. So, you know, you cast the shadow up, and it makes it look like this dude is cutting into somebody with a chainsaw and splattering blood all over their, all over the place. But really it's mud, and it's, well, I mean, it's a chainsaw, and it's just somebody in the back laughing hysterically, because, I mean, it's what you do when you're cutting somebody up with a chainsaw, isn't it? So that's one story that this reminds me of. Another story that this reminds me of, Toil and Trouble. It's obviously a reference to that Scottish play that you're not supposed to talk about, right? Mac something. Anyway, went to watch that with my family over in Stratford, Ontario, which, if you live in Michigan and you can get over there, it's kind of cool. They have several stages there, and they do all kinds of musicals, especially in the summertime. It's a beautiful place to be. City built up around these playhouses. They've had all kinds of people there. Alec Guinness was there for a time. William Shatner played on their stages. I saw Much Ado About Nothing with the score by the Bare Naked Ladies there, which was kind of neat. So anyway, Scottish play has the witches in it. Double, double, toil and trouble, cauldron burn, fire bubble. So I'm watching it and really into it. It's very cool. You know, they cast their spell, doing their whatever it is that they do. And like 15 minutes later, I was asleep. My dad was asleep. I think one of my sisters was asleep. It was a warm day and it was air conditioned and the seats are comfortable. But then Lady Macbeth came out to complain about the spot in her white dress. Oh, damn spot. Not that she was loud, but all of the lights went out. It changed the entire stage from like a shiny black. It was covered in a white sheet, everything. They brought up the lights, super bright, all of a sudden, woke all of us up, which is great. I think I stayed awake for the rest of that play. That was very interesting, the Lady Macbeth scene. Being woken up by that, very interesting. But yeah, I remember the witches being, like, looking through the program and being like, oh, those are the witches? They were very attractive young ladies. When they were out on the stage, not so much. A little bit scary out on the stage, because witches should be scary. Anyway, I've got a quote for you. This quote that I've got today is from Katharine Hepburn, not to be confused with Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn is absolutely gorgeous. Katharine Hepburn, if she tried a little bit, could pass as a dude. But also very attractive, which seems strange to say. Had a bunch to do with Uncle Howie, Howard Hughes, for some of his movies. But yeah, smart lady, nice lady, good actress for sure. What she said was, if you always do what interests you, at least one person is pleased. You can't please everybody. It may as well be yourself. I get it. Anyway, don't forget, you can find me on Untapped YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. No, not at Instagram. Untapped YouTube and Twitter at tubajake_69, and on Instagram at tubajake_. Don't forget to tell me your stories. I like to hear them. Hopefully you do too. Tell me your stories. I haven't gotten many of them recently, which is fine, but I only have so many to tell. I'll keep telling them. That's fine. I'll keep doing that. These beers are reminding me of all kinds of weird stuff that I didn't remember that I remembered. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that more people get to see this and hear my stories, because it makes me feel good when people like these and talk to me about them. So yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great. Thanks, Brett, for spreading the gospel of my YouTube channel. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I'll see you next time when you got time for a beer.